What's going on, everyone? I wanted to do a video regarding Japanese single cards. Now, as someone who's selling Japanese cards in general, people may say this is probably not a video that you should be doing, but I don't know. I think it's really important for people who are buying Japanese cards to have a good understanding as to what they're buying and kind of the expected value of these Japanese cards, because they are not like the English versions. They follow a very different market trend, and the values of them are quite a bit lower than their English counterparts. So I think it's really important to understand this. So whenever you are buying Japanese cards, maybe it'll give you a good idea as to when you should, maybe if you dump a card off, if you don't really care to keep it, or if you don't care to get it graded, so that you can at least get the highest value out of it before it all starts to tank, because that's really what happens. If you have followed any of the Terrestrial Festival and or Prismatic Evolutions cards, you would know that the Japanese counterpart to the English, any of the Evolution SIRs, they are extremely different. I have the Jolteon SIR, and looking at the Japanese one, I think it's almost a 10x difference between the two values of the cards. So it's really important just to be aware of this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to go through some of these sets within throughout 2025, which is for the Japanese sets. That was Battle Partners, Heatwave Arena, Glory of Team Rocket, Black Bolt and White Flare, and then Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. And then for their English counterparts, you have Journey Together, Destined Rivals, Black Bolt and White Flare, and then coming up will be Mega Evolutions in September. So I want you to kind of see these trends, kind of see what's going on with them, so that if you are, again, buying these cards just to have a good time opening packs, because they are readily available to anyone in the United States. If you don't want to care about the card, if you want to just dump it off to get money back, this will kind of give you a good idea as to that timing as to when you should do it. So I'm going to look at a few of the top cards throughout these sets, starting with Battle Partners, which is the equivalent to Journey Together. So everything that's in Battle Partners was in Journey Together, and that was all that was in there. So starting us off, we have the Lily's Clefairy EX. Great card, great looking card. Still actually extremely highly priced. This one, I would honestly admit, is a bit out there and a bit different. What I'm going to try to talk about is the generic bit of this. Lily's Clefairy is kind of off that generic and or common path for cards. So you're going to see a little bit of a weird graph here. I take it back to a year because Battle Partners was released originally at the end of January. And then following that, you have Journey Together, which was released at the end of March. So you have 2 months of time here where this card was in the market. So not that many sales, which is again why it's a little bit of an anomaly in comparison to some of the other cards. This card does not have a ton of sales to it, but when it was originally released, you have just 2 sales that occurred back at the end of February, and then you have March hitting here, and you have the first card that was sold at $205. So you went from $270 immediately down to $205, and then you have them continually dropping down from there. And these continue to drop down just for reprints that occur in Japan, because reprints in Japan occur more frequently than they do in the United States. So they can print this stuff to the ground, and they do. And so they continue to print them out, and the things get cheaper at the time when they were doing the reprints, and then prices jump back up shortly after that. But I'm not talking about sealed there, but this is the singles, and the singles, they just continue to plummet because the packs continue to get printed. So they continue to drop. And then you can see there's only been, again, a few sales here, but down to 127, 120, 135. But that market value went from that 270 down to 175. And you can see even here, near mint 140, near mint 140. And these are all sellers who have a high amount of sales, so likely reputable sellers. And they're only selling them for 140. So you went from, it's been, how many months now? 8 months since the release, actually. And he went from 270 down to now available for 140. So about cut in half. Now this one's a little bit of a better graph, I would say, just because it's has more frequent sales. So you have coming up to release, you have $175 as the average there, 150 to 195, and then you see it's coming out, and it's slowly starting to release because there's more cards hitting the market, more of them are becoming available, and they continue to drop, and we're starting to hit March. Let me zoom in on that 6 months now because we're getting into March, and then you have the dip here at the end of March, and then now we're getting a little bit of the hype. So this is another anomaly to a degree, but the aftermath is still there. It's still going to be there because this is when Pokemon was really starting to get really hyped up for Journey Together. Everyone was super excited for Journey Together. No one's excited for it now, but they were then. And so, and Zoroark was picking up in price. And so we're going to see that climb up again. Excitement. And then we've had a few weeks in the market for Journey Together. And now we're starting to see that tank, and then boom, huge drop, 13 items sold. So we went from a very large, very high 150 to 190, still in the hundreds, and now down to $67. And it has continued to just drop from there. So nothing crazy has been happening with this card since then. You can see $43, $44 near mint is going to be the common price for it. So again, cut quite a bit. That was N Zoroark EX. I don't know if I showed that initially, but it cut down quite a bit. So that was Battle Partners. Again, Battle Partners equals Journey Together in the United States. Then from there we have Heatwave Arena, which came out in March, right before Journey Together, and then which is coupled with Destined Rival, or the Glory of Team Rocket. Sorry, that was in April, those are coupled together to make Destined Rivals that came out in May. So Heatwave actually had quite a bit of time on the market before the combination in the English set came out. But let's go ahead and look at this first one here, which we got is Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. Great card. I love the artwork on this card. Ho-Oh is such an amazing Pokemon as well, but let's go ahead and look at pricing here. So we're only in the 6 month time because that's as far back as we need to go, but you see those initial prices. March, that first week, one item sold, $270. Everyone's like, yeah, let's sell this card. Great, it's gonna make big money. It's released and starts getting sold more, and prices start to drop, and then there more and more come onto the market, and they start to drop. Again, it's not a ton of items. You're at what, maybe 30 items right here so far, but they come on the market, they drop. They come on the market, and they pick up, and then they drop the price even further. We've already lost $100 in value within the first month of time, and then now we're coming closer, and we hit a slump. It's kind of mellowed out as Destined Rivals or Glory of Team Rocket gets released. You kind of start to see it mellow out, and it kind of has just continued to lower from there. And May was that time whenever Destined Rivals released in the United States. So you have 130 to 137, and then the next one from there, 120, and a few items have been sold from there and just around the 115 mark. And then we've had another slump and have gone down from there into August. So, and cards now get near mint. That's Korean. No one's wanting Korean. But you have $96, $100. These are no name sales though. But if you keep going a little bit higher, there's a little bit more. 103, and then there you go, 110. Last off game. There you go, $110. So prices have dropped tremendously, cut over in half. Again, this one was on the market for a little while longer, which is why I kind of leveled out here in May. But let's go ahead and look at Team Rocket's Mewtwo. So Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, great card, great looking card. I think they could have done more. Definitely could have done more with Giovanni, but still a good looking card. And this one again released middle of April. And so we have prices here. I'm in 3 months. Sorry about that. Middle of April. There we go. $400 card. to $500 card. Crazy, crazy price. Everyone wanted this card. Everyone wanted Mewtwo, the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. And we have time going on. Prices starting to drop, 280 to 325, continuing to drop. Then we're right about the release of Destined Rivals, and then boom, we're at 220 to 265. That week of Destined Rivals release, it then plummets, and then so where's that week at here? Let me see. This large one here, and then there you go. There's the drop, and then it starts to kind of level out from there as you kind of move down the graph. But you got that huge jump or huge drop right there, and then everything starts to level out. So once the English set releases, that's when it starts to level out, and it will continue to drop. Every card will continue to drop on the Japanese set, so just kind of be aware of that. And then Team Rocket's Moltres, I wanted to look at that too. Again, Team Rocket set, but similar trend. We got big money, big money, big money, and week before release, lots of items being sold, and boom, we've hit the bottom and have started to mellow out. So that big line there, that's the release date of Destined Rivals, and then hit a little dip and have begun to mellow out. Zekrom EX, the black-white rare. Again, this one was released in June, beginning of June for Japan, and then over in the US, it was released in the middle of July. So not a lot of time on the market in comparison, but you can see here's that June time, first sales, $333 to $360. And then we're going to go down over to the middle of July, which there's all the sales there. Big sell-off. Everyone's getting them sold. And, well, big sell-off, 4 items. But there's the bigger sell-off in that, and then sold. And then now we've kind of mellowed out. And now everything's been announced for Mega and released for Mega, and things have dropped off from there. And this will probably mellow out again a little bit over the next few months. Still a high-valued card, but I mean, you've lost over $100 or almost $100 in value just in this time period. We're at, what, 2 months now since it's released? So, but this is also definitely a different one too. Slightly bit of an anomaly just because it's the new rarity. But you still see the same trend. Same trend with, or a little bit different actually. This one's a weirder anomaly, honestly. You have release, or right before the release. This one's kind of follows that N Zoroark, where we had the huge, like, people were like pumping it, trying to sell over higher because right before the English release, and then now we're kind of hitting August. It's kind of died off with the desire for it on the English side and on the Japanese side, and we have dropped off on prices now because Mega's here. So every time these sets release, it's either whenever the new set is announced or the English set goes through. Those prices begin to plummet on those cards. This is the Reshiram. I figured I'd just pull this one up too. Again, another weird anomaly one. That's 3 months. Another weird anomaly one. But you also still have that drop. So coming through, and here's that drop right there. And more sales, and it's continued to drop from there. Same thing here. Same big drops. People didn't like Reshiram as much, but you still have a little bit of that drop, the higher sell-off, and there you go. And we're getting into the Megas. Megas are crazy. They're just crazy in general. Not too many sells on these ones. Again, it's a different kind of rarity, so you have to take into account the type of rarity. They have these Mega Ultra Rare cards, which is interesting with the new with the gold look, with a new design, which compared to the Zekrom and the Reshiram with the black-white rare, you have, where's that? Mega Gardevoir EX, same thing. This one's continuing to climb though. People really want that Mega Gardevoir EX, probably because it's a really playable card too. But the let's look at the non ultra rare cards or non special cards. So Lily's Determination, great looking card. Everyone loves Lily. And actually, thanks to John, you know who you are. John actually was talking to me about this card, and I had to walk through this because I was like, this is actually something that's really could be really helpful for a lot of people, because he was wanting to sell his card that he actually pulled, and I was looking at prices and I was like, oh, it's a $300 card, and then I was looking at everything else and I was like, actually, it's not a $300 card because the closest price card from there was around $250, and if he's taking it to any type of seller or anything like that, you're looking at 70%, 80% at most. So it's dropped down to even $200 or so. So I had to kind of walk through that with him, which was helpful for me. Is why I'm making this video. So I want to help anyone else who's kind of curious about that too, because like originally Lily's card, there's only a few here, but $300 or $350, $300, and then as time was going on, it's dropping again as we have the new set that was announced. That's coming out for the Phantasmal Flames, so kind of a new set announcement. Everything is kind of moving along, and when within the next few weeks or in the next month, we are going to have Mega Evolutions release in the United States, which is going to cause this price to tank even further. And same with the Mega Gardevoir. Again, playable card, which is why people want it, but still you have prices rising, falling, rising, then now dropping because of an announcement of a new set. And there's also the new set that's coming out, Inferno X in Japan, that comes out same day as Mega Evolutions comes out in the United States. So that's also a piece of it too, where this is, I said Phantasmal Flames. I meant Inferno X. Phantasmal Flames is the English set. Inferno X is the Japanese set coming out the same day as Mega Evolution. So, all that to be said, whenever you have Japanese cards, if you don't care about the card and you've just got the brand new sets, try to dump them off as quick as possible. That'd be my recommendation because the value on them is a lot higher. You're going to be, if you're going to any card shows or going to any stores, you're looking at the most recent sale or the most available sales, the lowest cost on these sales. That's what the number we're going to go off of for our percentage that we're going for. We're not going to go off of this market price for the most part. We're going to look at these sales that are available to us. Because if I could buy this card for $175, but if you say the value, if the market price was at, let's say, $250, I could probably just go buy it off of this card, and then I also know that it's going to tank. The prices are going to drop even further over time very quickly. So if I was to buy it at $250, I'm going to lose value in it immediately, and then it's going to continue to drop from there. So it's not worth buying it at that price and watching it go down and down and down. When people buy cards, they want the value, and they want to have a card that's going to keep the value. And the Japanese cards, they just don't. They don't at all, and they do mellow out. They always mellow out, but you're waiting 2-3 months to figure out what that mellow out cost is at. And so again, if you're buying these, try to dump them sooner rather than later. Don't try to go get them graded if you don't really care about them. If you want to keep it, and if you want to just sell it as a graded card, you can. I mean, by all means, go to price charting and check it out. The price is there, but it's if you don't really care about the card, if you just want to move it to gain cash to buy more, dump it sooner rather than later. So that's going to do it for this video, and hopefully you had learn a little something with this. So if you're into Japanese cards, definitely check out my website, crystalbeasttcg.com. Hit me up on Instagram. Looking forward to the Inferno X set coming out in September, and also not looking forward to the tariffs coming out later this week. So I hope you all have a great night.